goodness. What's good, everybody? This is Ryan Johnson with MoneyBass.com. All right, guys, back once again. Let's go ahead and get into it and have a little bit of fun this week. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I can tell you somebody that did. Our special guest, Spencer, he had a great weekend. So we will be bringing him up, guys. And as always, you guys know the drill. If you're coming back to the live stream, want to give a shout out to all my subscribers, big time supporters. Please hit a 1 in that chat for me. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me okay, see me okay. Make sure I'm not up here talking to myself, so we can go ahead and get right into it, guys. Man, always running, always into something. All right, so let me just also give a shout out. Let me pull this up real quick. Make sure we have things going right, guys. Hold on, just bear with me. Let's see, where are we at? All right, I see those ones coming in. All right, want to make sure we are good over here on YouTube, and also want to give a shout out to the Facebook crew. So let me pull that up real quick. Make sure you guys are live and in action also. Hey guys, just doing a little struggle streaming over here. You know, I'm always trying to get things rolling, guys. Get things set up for you as everybody comes into the live stream. Just want to give you guys a little bit of time to come in here, you know, get settled in. And for tonight, you guys saw that BFL at Lake Hartwell. Looks like somebody was cashing some big checks over there, guys. Got to give a shout out for that. All right, so let's see. Over here on Facebook, we are live and rolling. So want to give a shout out to you guys. If anybody over there on Facebook, you guys can hop into the comments too. So we have everything rolling for everybody. All right. So basically a quick rundown. If anybody is new checking into the live stream, welcome to MoneyBass. Checking us out over here. Really, really appreciate that. So what we're going to get into tonight is let's see. So we have our special guest, Spencer Sato. I hope I'm pronouncing that last name right, but he will be coming up. We'll go over a little bit of, you know, how he went out there and did some damage on Lake Hartwell this past weekend. And then, of course, we will get into the how would you fish it segment. And that is where I bring up some footage on the water. And I guess you guys may have an idea of what it will be, you know, this week. So I'll bring up some footage from whenever I was out on the water. This week, we will be discussing live imaging. So I will pull up some live imaging footage. We'll take a look at that, see what type of cover structure, if you're seeing any fish or anything like that. And then you will let me know how you would fish it in the comments. So guys, as always, make sure you please get active in the comments. Really, really appreciate that. And then what we'll do is I know a lot of people have been having questions about their Helix units, and I see some questions out there about those Solix and Apex too. So we'll after we, you know, go over the interview and all that stuff, then I will bring up some additional footage and go over some things that will help you guys out there out on the water. And the other thing, with that footage, whenever we get into that, I will come back and ask you guys, are you more interested in seeing some on the water footage with tracking baits, or going over how I went through and did my update and just some on the water footage of how the images were looking? You know, I think I have some footage right before the update was done and then after the update, the 1.200 update. So that's pretty much what we're talking to. All right, so appreciate everybody tuning in this evening. So I don't really have some on the water footage from Lake Hartwell for me because I did not fish Lake Hartwell this past weekend. So I had some older footage, but decided not to bring that up. So this week we'll do it a little different. Gonna head into the comment section real quick so I can see who's in here for tonight, see who we can get some shout outs to. Oh, and real quick, guys, I always have to acknowledge the sponsor of the live stream. Man, they were battling it out last week. But Paul Gavinsky, if you take a look down at the bottom of the screen, you see that banner scrolling down there. Special shout out to Paul Gavinsky. He is a member of the MoneyTeam, and he sponsored last week's live stream. So also want to give a shout out to Mako Mills. And I think it was Jason. I think you guys were out there doing your thing, trying to make it happen. So yeah, and you know, Vernon Neal, he was in the mix. He was making some things happen too. So really, really appreciate you guys. But if you take a look at the bottom of the screen, you see that banner. That is basically the current sponsor of the live stream. And what I say each live stream is whoever gives the largest super chat, super sticker, Cash App to support the channel becomes the sponsor of tonight's live stream, because this channel is supported by you guys, the viewers. So that's pretty much how we run things over here. All right, and let me just take a look real quick. I just need to make sure my Facebook people are set up over here, so just bear with me real quick. All right, here we go, guys. So yeah, this is going to be a good one, be an interesting one, guys. All right, so let me take a look over here and see who we have tuning into the live stream, guys. So like I said, special shout out to Paul Gavinsky. He is the current sponsor. All right, so we have, step into the live stream, we have somebody that's always checking in a little early here. We have Michael with High Tech Redneck Fishing. Got a long name on that one, but he says, hi guys, hope everyone is doing well. All right, so yeah, we're in here, we're getting things done, everybody's doing all right. Then we have Vernon Neal. He says, what's good, MoneyBass? What's going on, Vernon Neal? Really appreciate you, strong supporter of the channel, guys. Really appreciate you coming back to the live stream. All right, and let's see, I see you guys hit me with some ones. We have Michael with High Tech Redneck Fishing, so aka 1010. That's pretty much what I call him. So any of the people that are new here, that's because he comes in here talking about those 13 pounders, those 10 pounders, those 10 pounders again that he's out there catching. All right, so we have Vernon Neal hit me with the one. Cody Green, what's going on? Really appreciate you coming in and supporting the channel. And look who we have, guys. We have Big Jim Fishing. He says, what's up, Michael, Vernon, and Cody? Oh yeah, so you guys make sure you continue to get active, network in the comment section. We are always here to help each other out. That is what it's all about here, guys. Come here, support each other, and celebrate each other whenever we have our tournament wins. Yeah, I mean, we have some people out there that are cashing some checks and getting some tournament wins, so you can come here, brag a little bit about it. Some of us, every once in a while, we may need a pat on the back. So we have one of those nights, then you can come here and get some support for that also. All right, guys, and look at what we have here. Special shout out to Big Jim Fishing. All right, so what this means, guys, Big Jim with Big Jim Fishing is the current sponsor of this live stream. Like I said, whoever gets the largest super chat, super sticker of the current live stream becomes tonight's sponsor of the live stream. So let me go in here and do a little work, guys. Just bear with me real quick. I have to go in here and change this banner. So once again, special shout out to Paul Gavinsky. He was the sponsor of last week's live stream. But tonight, Big Jim Fishing said, hey, I want to step in and, get into this action a little bit. Let them know who Big Jim Fishing is. So special shout out to Big Jim Fishing. Hit me with the $10 super chat. And if you take a look at the bottom of the screen, you will see special thank you so much to the sponsor of the stream, Big Jim Fishing. Really appreciate that. All right, so Big Jim says, let's get dialed in. All right, so yeah, that is the name of his crew over there and the name of the series that he has out on his channel. So especially you guys that are focused on the Solix units, Apex units, go over there and make sure you check out Big Jim's channel. Strong supporter of the channel. He hops in here every once in a while. I hop in his chat over there a little bit and get active over there too. So we just have a good time with it, guys. He says, thanks to the money team that supports Big Jim Fishing and watches my live shows and videos. You guys rock. All right, really appreciate that. Yeah, guys, money team out there representing. All right, so let's see who else we have checking in tonight. All right, so we have Mark Scott, member of the money team. Really appreciate you checking in, always supporting the channel. Very big. I know he's out there sporting that merch and everything. You guys that are interested in the merch, the link should be located right below the video itself. Special shout out to Mark. And real quick, guys, anybody that is interested in joining the money team, the link is located in the description. And actually, somebody was asking me about that. So what I will do, just bear with me again real quick, guys. I will put that link in the chat. Just pin it to the chat. So that way, anybody that's has some questions about it, you can click on that link and get some more information about joining the money team. Just bear with me real quick, guys. Let me pull this up. Trying to do a lot of things at once here, guys. All right, so this is for you guys that were asking about the money team. And let me just pin this to the top of the chat. All right, there we go. All right, so that link to the money team is in the chat for anybody interested in getting some more information about that. And let's see. Let me go ahead and get to some of these shout outs, guys. All right, so we have 1010. Michael with High Tech Redneck Fishing says, I'm good, Big Jim. All right, yeah, like I said, a lot of guys in here have been networking, kind of know each other from getting active in the chat. So that is always a good thing. All right, so just kind of shooting through here real quick just to get caught up. We have Joshua B. Fishing checking in. Really, really appreciate Joshua B. Fishing. He is definitely a strong supporter of the channel, and he is the one who created the MoneyBass logo. So yeah, special shout out to you. Then we have DP. He says, hey guys, finally made it in. All right, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, then we have Texas Noop. He says, what's good, money? What's going on? All right, so I know some of you guys have been out there on the tournament trails cashing some checks, having a good time out there. So for anybody that has been out there participating in some tournaments, please drop that information in here. Let us know how you did. If anybody's else is out there cashing some checks, we can, get some good vibes going on in here. All right, then we have My Opinion. He says, you had me all excited, money. I thought you brought the hardware in. What kind of hardware is that? I'm not really sure what kind of hardware that is. But nah, I haven't been out there cashing any checks lately. But I mean, I have West Point coming up this weekend. So we'll see what happens there. All right, then we have Joshua B. Fishing says, I placed 27th out of 115 anglers on my Lake Austin tournament this past weekend. All right, there you go. Special shout out to that 27th place. Hey, man, I was just trying to make the top 40. That was my goal, but I didn't quite make it that time. Maybe next time. We'll see. But yeah, shout out to you for that. All right, let's see who else we have. Deshaun Peck checking in. What is going on? Really appreciate you coming into the live stream, always supporting the channel. Make sure you guys go and check out his channel. He's doing some big things over on YouTube also. All right, and let's see. Hold on one second. Let's see who else we have. Darren Pearson says, don't forget, guys, to hit the like button. Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for that. Please make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. If you're somebody new to the channel, what we do here each week is get together and talk about fishing. We talk about electronics. We talk about tournaments. Each week, I'm trying to get together and get some guys that are here fishing the current BFL trails. The BFL, I'm currently fishing the BFL Bulldog division. So we have guys in here that are mixing it up, fishing some other tournaments. But anybody that knows anybody that is fishing the BFL tournaments, if they place, please have them reach out to me. My Instagram is @officialmoneybass. So have them reach out to me. And hey, maybe we can get together and I can pull them up on the show, give them a shout out, celebrate their wins. You know what I'm saying? So just have a good time with it. All right, so let's see who else we have checking in, guys. So I'm going to get caught up on these comments real quick, and then we will get right into it, guys. All right, let's see who else we have checking in. Don't want to leave anybody out of the mix. All right, so Big Jim Fishing is shouting out Deshaun Peck. That's the way we do it over here. Michael with High Tech Redneck Fishing says, this should be good. I'm fishing Hartwell tomorrow. So hey, I mean, you're going to have to come back and let us know how you did. Now, listen, I know you're out there used to catching those 10-pounders and 13-pounders. I want to know what you do out there on Lake Hartwell. All right, so good deal with that. So yeah, so we'll go over a few things, might help you out, but definitely make sure you come back and let us know how you do out there on Lake Hartwell. All right, and let's see who else we have checking in. Guys, check it out. Big Jim Fishing is now officially a member of the Money Team. All right. Good deal, Big Jim. Really, really appreciate that, guys. Like I said, anybody that is interested in becoming a member of the Money Team, there's a few special perks that go along with that. And as you see, one of them is having that badge right next to your name. And that shows everybody that you are a member of the Money Team. And it helps you stand out in the chat. So once we start getting into it, guys, especially whenever we're going over tournaments or going over any electronics, anything like that, that chat gets very active, and it is very hard for me to keep up with all of the chats. So what that does for me is it's easy for me to look in here and I can see who the members of the Money Team are. So what you guys will see is a little symbol right next to their name. It'll pretty much be the symbol that you see on this hat and on this hoodie. It'll be a little MoneyBass logo, and the longer you have been a member of the Money Team, that logo will continue to kind of change to something else. So it kind of will just show everybody how long you've been supporting the channel. So really, really appreciate that, Big Jim. All right. And then we have Cajun Rob checking in. What is going on? All right. Really appreciate you checking in. All right, then yeah, he's giving a shout out to Big Jim. Like I said, it's one big family over here. We're building a community of like-minded guys that are here to support each other and help everybody get better on the water. All right, another shout out to a member of the Money Team. We have Joseph checking in. He says, "What's up, guys? Turn it up." Oh yeah, we're gonna get into it, guys. We're gonna get into it and have some fun with this one tonight. All right, Big Jim says, I now have that MoneyBass beside my name. There you go. Yeah, so you are an official member of the Money Team. Really, really appreciate that. Uh-oh, guys, check this out. We have Ballsy Bates checking in. Says, use my live scope today. Didn't catch anything. It's okay. I was just testing the unit. Oh, now I think that may be kind of an inside joke because there was a time where I was out on the lake and I saw a comment where he put something in there about not catching anything and what kind of excuse you use. And that is pretty much what I say, guys. I'm not always out there to catch fish. Sometimes I just want to drive around and see what I can see on my unit. So we do a little bit of that too. All right. And then we have the Do Better podcast. Uh-oh, guys, we have somebody new checking in. Hit me with the $3 super sticker. Really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate you tuning in and checking out the live stream. So you'll see how we do over here. Just talk a little, little fishing lingo and stuff like that over here. So we have a little fun with it. All right. And then just had to pull this up. Look at that. Doesn't that look pretty? He has that MoneyBass Money Team logo right next to him. Shout out to Big Jim. All right, then we have, let's see, Michael with High Tech Rating. Fishing says, Ballsy Bates, congratulations on your live scope. I had mine for 2 years. Just ask if you need anything, need any help setting up your unit. So that is the other thing, guys. I run Humminbird systems. I have my Helix units, Mega Live, Mega 360. I might be working on getting a little target lock or something like that. I got something I'm trying to see if I can get worked out. So I have a lot of good footage out there for you guys if I do get that installed. So I'll bring the reel to you so you guys can see what's going on with that. All right, so really appreciate that. All right, then we have There He Go Fishing. We need GPS locations. Uh-oh, he wants some GPS locations on Hartwell. I don't know if you're gonna get that, but hey, I mean, you can get the GPS location to the lake. How about that one? All right, then we have Don checking in, says, "Hey, Money, what's going on? Really appreciate you stepping into the live stream." All right, and let's see. Almost caught up on these comments, guys, and then, like I said, we're gonna get right into it. Man, I see some BFL guys checking in. Shout out to you guys. Really, really appreciate you coming and supporting the channel and supporting the anglers, guys. That's what it's all about, to give people their flowers when they're out here, because it's tough. I mean, how many of us can say that we have held that trophy that our guest has held tonight? So, all right, so that is always a good thing, guys. All right, so Cajun Rob says Toyota Central Gunnersville, check range day, 1 as a co-day, 2 not so much. Yeah, so I know you're out there fishing at Toyota Central. So yeah, you're out there doing it big, Cajun Rob. All right, then we have Joseph, member of the Money Team. He says, "What's going on, guys? Glad to see everyone making it in. Good deal." Uh-oh. What do we have here? We have a new sponsor of the live stream, Mark Scott. He is a member of the Money Team. As always, stepping in strong. He says, "Hey, hold up, swole up. I know, Big Jim, you had your moment, but Mark Scott says, let me go ahead and take the lead on this. Let me go ahead and hop in real quick." All right, so just bear with me real quick, guys. Let me get in here, change this banner real quick. And let's see. The current sponsor is Mark Scott. So let me make sure I get that spelling right. I have to put some respect on his name. All right, let's see. So we have Mark Scott. There we go. All right, and get that rolling. There we go, guys. So if you take a look down at the bottom, we now have special thank you so much to the sponsor of the live stream, Mark Scott, member of the Money Team. Really, really appreciate that. All right, guys, just a few more comments here real quick, and then we will get into it. Let's see. So Cajun Rob says, "Nick BFL, Mountain Division, Dale Hollow, my favorite, March 18th. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Okay, so I know there's some guys that are in the comments, in the subscribers that will be fishing that same tournament. So hey, it would be cool if you guys meet each other, you know what I mean? Come back and talk about it in the chat on the next live stream. So that would be cool. Then we have Cool C. What is going on? I met him at the Lake Lanier BFL. He was out there doing his thing on the co-angler side. So shout out to you with that. All right, and let's see. Oh man, we got another member of the Money Team. All right, Cool C just became a member of the Money Team. Really, really appreciate that, guys. All right, so yeah, so we're growing, guys. Like I said, not too long ago, we had just hit 5,000 subscribers. Now we are hitting 54, almost that 5,500, 55, yeah, 5,500 subscriber range. So really, really appreciate the support, guys. All right, then Joseph says, not a lot of fishing this week. Had to do some work around the house. It's going to be all right, though. Gave me time to think about them and get mad at them. Yes, you're going to go out there and try to hurt them next time. All right. Then Cajun Rob says, there you go, my friend. You'll get them. All right. And let's see. Donald Brown, what's going on? Appreciate you checking into the live stream. He says, what it do, money? All right. All right. And we have Joseph. Let's see. What does Joseph say? I did get my hands on a couple of MegaBass Mega Draft soft swim baits. Gonna try a little something. Wait a minute. Something different for, okay. All right. For them to drop shot fish. Okay. That is such a coincidence. I was just pulling out my mag drafts earlier today. So yes, we have, hey, we have something in common there. Cajun Rob says mag draft got me paid on Big Bash Gunnersville last fall. There you go, guys. Those things really make it happen. What's your favorite color on those mag drafts? I'm running with that albino and the MB. Goodness, I can't remember that other color, guys. But yeah, so yeah, that's definitely something I have in mind. All right, so Big Jim says, see you at Dale Hollow Cajun Rod Fishing. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. I knew some of you guys were both going to be at the same place. All right, then Joseph Berthelot says, my drop shot game is a little weak. I don't have the patience to let them work it out. So I figured a mag draft on a drop shot. Okay. You must be talking about one of those small ones. I was talking about those 6-inch mag drafts. I know you're not putting that on a drop shot, are you? I mean, you got some secret out there you working on? All right. And let's see. We have Stephen Walden checking in. He says, let's see, anyone fishing the Bassmaster Open? Hey, I mean, you never know. We might have somebody in here doing their thing at that Bassmaster Open. All right. And let's see. Let's see who else we have in here, guys. All right. Yeah. So that is the color, that MB Gizzard Shad. That is the one that I have tied on. And then we have Shaky Hair Fred checking in, guys. I mean, with a name like Shaky Hair Fred, I'm pretty sure you know what he's out there fishing with. All right. And another special shout out to Jason, member of the Money Team. Really, really appreciate you back and supporting the channel. He says, Jason has arrived. Good evening, everyone. All right. Let me go ahead and get one more. Then we'll get into it, guys. All right. So we have Thomas. What does Thomas say? Thomas says, good evening. Well, I fished with my first Cinco wacky rig this past weekend. Purple and brown, 3 hours, 3 bass. Nothing big, but it was fun to see it in action. Also hooked 2 with the shad wrap. There you go. Hey, sounds like you got your 5 fish, man. Good day on the water. Some of us out there struggling to get those 5. So good deal with that. All right, guys. So, all right. Let's go ahead and get into it, guys. You guys saw that thumbnail and you have seen the title of the video. So let me do something real quick. Let me see if I can share my screen. It just kind of pulls something up for you guys. Hold on, just bear with me, guys. Bear with me. You know, it's a live show. It's a work in progress. Always trying to make things happen. Let me share a little something real quick. Where we go? And this, there we go. Let me see if I can make this bigger for you guys. Actually, hold on. Just bear with me, guys. Let me bring that back down, bring it up again. Hold on. All right, just going to share my screen just to go over a little bit of information with you guys. So we can take a look at that and see how that looks. All right, there we go. All right. Add that to the stream. Let's see if I can blow that up real quick, guys. All right, there we go. This is our special guest that's going to be coming up. Let me drop that out of the way. So, guys, take a look at that. Career wins 2. Shout out to that. Top 10s. 8. Total winnings over $37,000, guys. Ooh, must be nice. All right, and the other thing I wanted to take a look at, guys. So there he is right there holding that trophy. Man, look at it, guys. All right, so let me go ahead and drop that back down. Just bear with me, guys. All right, so without further ado, Who do we have checking in this evening? What is going on, Spencer? How's everything going?
What's going on, man? It's going good. How are y'all?
Hey, man, we're making it happen, Just having a little bit of fun over here, getting ready for this weekend coming up.
I hear you, man.
Yeah. So, so the man of the hour, shout out again to that win on Lake Hartwell. Man, man. So, you know, you have some of those days where you go out there and you're like, hey, man, I've been on them. I'm about to make it happen. I mean, is that what was in your head going into it? I mean, how are you feeling?
Definitely not. I was honestly just expecting to go out there, catch my 12 to 14 pounds, and then just hope I get a big bite of shallow with largemouth. You know, that was kind of my game plan. In practice, I'd been catching anywhere from 20 to 30 fish each day,
Okay.
But they were all in that 2 to 3.5 pound quality. So I really wasn't expecting, anything of the sorts. And especially to have close to 20 pounds with all spotted bass for Hartwell, that was quite a surprise for sure.
Man, I was definitely surprised whenever I saw that. And when I saw those pictures of you holding those fish up, you saw my message. I was like, are those fish from Hartwell? Like, where did you take that picture at? And you were like, oh, yeah, those are Hartwell spotted bass.
They were insane. So,
wow. Yeah. Oh, and real quick, before I forget, shout out because you're on what, Instagram and Facebook?
Yeah, Instagram and Facebook, it's Flying Hawaiian Fishing.
Okay, Flying Hawaiian Fishing. All right. So you guys make sure you go over to his social media, log in, follow him on his social media, because it looks like he's doing some big things. I mean, he's in the top 10s. He has 2 tournament wins. I mean, how many of us can say that? I mean, it's a lot of people. And I was looking at the the write-up. It says in only his 5th time on Hartwell, the 25-year-old, how do you pronounce your last name? Sato, right? Sato.
Yeah.
25, and you already have 2 wins. It's people that's in their 60s trying to just get one.
Well, I actually just turned 26 yesterday.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, shout out to that, man. So look, I mean, so you got the trophy, got the check, celebrating your birthday. Okay, so you're doing it big.
Yeah, it's been a good start of the year. God's definitely blessed it for sure, and I just don't want to take it for granted because they don't come around too often, you know.
Definitely. That is true. And I know everybody's wanting to get right into what was he doing? How did he catch him and all that good stuff? But, let's kind of ease into it. So you said going into it, I mean, your practice, you were doing okay on your practice. So you were going into it thinking that you'd hit that 12 to 14 pound range. I mean, that's still not always an easy thing to do because you never know what's going to happen. But you said you caught around 20 to 30 fish or something like that?
Right. Yeah. So, fishing out deep mostly, fish some points, but there's just a lot of spots in Hartwell. The fish population is really big there, and they're definitely not as timid as like the linear bass are. You know, they seem like they're not as well educated in a way. Like they haven't seen baits, so they're a little bit easier to catch. So those 2 pound quality fish were definitely a whole lot easier to come by. And I think the check cut for the boater side in that tournament was like 14 pounds.
Wow. Okay.
There was a lot of those 2 to 3 pound quality fish being caught.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, so to me, I always say Lanier, Russell, and Hartwell. To me, all fish kind of the same. The fish on Lanier are a little harder to catch. Then next is Hartwell, and then Russell. Those fish are very aggressive in my opinion. But there was like a time period where even on Hartwell, the fish that the bite has slowed down. It seems like they had got used to a lot of things, and that offshore bite was you'd see them and they'd be like, nah, not today.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time, especially out on Lanier. I think they know what my swim bait looks like for sure.
Right. Gotcha. Oh yeah, because you fished the Lanier BFL too, right?
Yeah, I fished actually the week before that too. I fished an ABA Open on Lanier as well, and actually won that one. And then,
whoa, wait a minute, you won that one?
Yeah, it was. I think there was 42 votes.
Okay.
So, but that was the ABA Open Series. I had 1970 in that one.
Ooh. All right. Hey, so you're really out there doing it big.
Had a good start for sure. Had a good start.
Gotcha. Yeah, good start. I mean, you mean a good start. That sounds like 3 back-to-backs where you're out here doing big things. All right, so let's go ahead and get into your tournament day. So you said your practice was going pretty well. You were catching fish in that 2 to 3 pound caliber range. So you kind of had an expectation of what to expect. But now tournament day, what was the weather like? That was a pretty nice day. You weren't dealing with rain or cold fronts or anything like that, right?
It was decent. It wasn't like super warm. I think it was in like mid upper 40s in the morning, but the sun didn't ever come out. It was cloudy pretty much all day, and moderate to no wind. So at times it was pretty slicked off, and then at times there's a little bit of a ripple on the water, but kind of one of those gloomy days that wasn't too cold, but cloudy pretty much most of the day. And a lot of herring lakes, it's conducive to bite on days like that. Or
right, exactly.
Even nastier the better for herring lakes for sure.
Yeah. All right. So you pretty much went into it. You weren't intended to go shallow. You knew you were going to be offshore pretty much.
To start the day for sure. My plan was to go and get my 12 pounds. And then after that, I knew I was going to have to do something to piece together those big largemouth to, have a shot at winning. So that was my main goal. So wanted to get my 12 pounds just for points and, have a shot at a check, and then just go swing up shallow and target largemouth. That was my game plan going into the day.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So once you blast off happens and you're heading out, when you first get to, are you catching your fish early? Are you hitting your first spot and things are just on for you, or is it, how did your day look?
It was kind of like for the whole first few hours of the day, I would get bit. Obviously, herring lakes in the wintertime, you have your normal ditch bite where the herring get pushed back into the back of pockets, and you have all your whole assortment of fish, whether it be spotted bass, largemouth, white bass, stripers, all kinds of stuff, just pushing herring into the back of those pockets. So I was catching fish in the morning. I had a small limit probably by 9 o'clock or so, but it was only maybe 8 pounds. It wasn't hardly anything. The quality of fish had definitely decreased from what I had seen, in practice in some of those areas. And I was expecting that. I was expecting to have to run new water because I had practiced earlier on in the week and not, right up on tournament day. And anybody that's fished at herring lake knows that the chances of your fish hanging around, unless it's a really good ditch, is slim to none. So you got to be expected to make decisions on your toes and be ready to make a change at a moment's notice.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That is definitely true. So yeah, so you started off. I mean, you took the pressure off a little bit. I guess the pressure kind of changed. I mean, you have your bites, you have a limit in the boat, but that limit isn't really going to do too much for you. So some of the pressure is off. So now that you can kind of ease into that next phase of the morning. So how did it go from there? So after that 9 o'clock phase, did you intentionally move out to some areas where you were catching some bigger fish before?
Yeah, so I started to cycle through some other areas, some ones that I'd gone like twice, probably a couple weeks earlier, just to get an idea of how it fishes and how it sets up. And Hartwell's a huge lake, so getting to see the portions of the bodies of water and just kind of get an idea of what the lay of the land looks like, that was going to be a big key for me, just to be able to pick up and move, and if I have something in my head, know where to go find that. So I started running some water that I had seen before in areas I knew that were holding fish, just to see if I could start doing some slow upgrades. I had one that was only about 2.5 pounds. That was my best one at the time. So I had to get 4 more of that size to get to my 12 pounds. So I needed to cycle some areas that held that. But I was also, knowing that I needed to run new water and try some new things to have a shot at catching some better quality fish. And I was honestly hoping for big largemouth. That's what I thought was going to win the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, for me, anytime where we see Hartwell, it's like you pretty much use the spots to fill out your limit, but those largemouth are what you're going to need in order to come in with a win. But I mean, you've proved that a little different. So what is the setup of your boat? Like, what type of electronics are you running? What electronics do you have? And what are you using in order to catch those fish offshore? Like, what is your techniques and everything?
So I got a 920 Elite Phoenix, and I got 4 Lowrance units on it, and also run a Ghost trolling motor. But I got the 12 live units. I got 2 on the console and 2 on the bow. And honestly, I don't really spend a whole lot of time graphing on herring lakes. Most of the time, for me, I find my time to be most efficiently used by the active target, and I have active target too. I just got it not too long ago.
Okay.
It's definitely assisted in like the longer ranges,
Mm-hmm.
having clarity out there and knowing what you're looking at. Up to 120 feet, 100 feet. Down in depths of 45, 50, 60 foot of water. So it's definitely been a big assistant for me to be able to decipher areas quicker and tell size of fish, what they are, and all that stuff. So that's definitely how I go about fishing Lanier or now Hartwell, picking apart areas using forward-facing sonar mainly.
Okay. And so pretty much like you said, you don't spend a lot of time graphing. So once you hit an area, you just it seems like you're using your mapping and looking at the contours and things like that to target your area. Then when you get there, you kind of use your forward facing sonar to scout around real quick, pack up and jet if it does not look like it's what you need, pretty much.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's 100% what I'm doing, and trying to focus in on certain niche areas, maybe ditches or points that do certain things, and focusing on those areas. And I'll search around because prior to a forward facing sonar, a lot of the textbooks and everything will tell you that fish set up on a point and they stay there and they just wait for a bait to come by and they eat whenever it comes by, and
Exactly.
that is absolutely not the case. So you can just throw all that stuff out the window and just write your own textbook now. But that's definitely how I like to do it, and I feel like that it gives me an idea of what's around the area too. So if I'm looking around and I'm seeing some stuff here, but it doesn't really look very good, and even if I'm seeing bait and I'm not seeing the right kind of things as far as fish quality goes or just fish in general,
Right.
area can be kind of dead in a way, and I won't spend my time there, especially on something as big as Hartwell, where that there is good quality fish somewhere in the lake, and they're going to be feeding at some point. So you definitely want to cycle those areas and at least figure out where they're at.
Right. So were you finding it to where you were able to catch those fish on drop shot? So for me, whenever I would get on Hartwell within the recent years when I would go out there, well, let's step back a little before that. I could go out there and just kill them on drop shot. I mean, I was catching 3-pounders and stuff on that drop shot like it wasn't anything, but it just seemed like something changed for me. They'll it's almost like they're looking up and saying, "Oh, we see you up there. What is that you're dropping down here?" And they're just pointing, laughing, and just swimming off. So does it seem like that's kind of changed up now to where they'll start hitting baits like that, or what are your thoughts on that?
It really just depends, and that's part of having forward facing sonar too, is you can really read mannerisms of the fish and see what they're reacting to, what they're not reacting to. Whether it be, you drop a drop shot on them and they go chase it down and eat it right away, or you're sitting there and, putting the worm right in front of its face. You think you're about to accidentally hook it. It's so daggum close to it, but they never touch it,
Right.
It really just depends. And it has a lot to do with pressure, they've never had this many baits presented to them in a short period of time as they have ever since forward facing sonars came out and the upgraded technologies come out. So it's made it quite a bit harder to get these bites. And even if you do get a bite, there's no telling if they're going to fully commit to it or if they're going to bite your tail off or whatever it is.
Right.
So it makes it that much more frustrating.
And in a way, it seems like they know that it's the weekend. They're like, "Oh, it's Saturday, guys. We're gonna make it a little tough on people." But I mean, you got out there and you figured it out. So did it seem as though you had to kind of stay off of them and cast out to them? Was that kind of your game plan with that?
Yeah, even at Lanier here recently, I haven't really been able to get on top of them and catch fish that way. Some of my buddies have, but I really haven't had a whole lot of success doing that. I can if there's a big school underneath me and they're fired up and ready to eat. Yeah, you can get bites vertically, but most of the time I'm trying to stay as far off of them as I can with still putting a good presentation in front of them.
Exactly.
If I'm not confident that I can present the bait correctly in front of them, then I don't really, I try to get a little bit closer to it to where I feel confident. Because I mean, a lot of these fish, you get one shot at them, and if you don't hit it right in the first time, you might as well just, start searching for the next one.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it's like you have a few minutes to kind of trick them, and after that, they're like, "Hey, we kind of see something's not quite right." So you kind of have to back off of them and maybe come back a little later sometimes, and that'll pay off too.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And so you had mentioned something about your boat earlier that day. I guess a blast off or something was going on with that.
Right. Yeah. So the issue started back at Lanier, and I don't know if there's anybody in chat that's got a new Mercury 4-stroke.
You have the 250.
Yeah, the 250.
Yeah, that's what I'm running. Yeah.
I think it's probably any of the sizes. I don't know if it matters too much, but on the trim assembly, if you follow your trim rod all the way up to the sleeve that holds the trim pin through the motor, there's a bolt that goes in the backside of that sleeve, and it screws into your trim pin, and it lets the computer know inside, where your trim is at, so your pump knows, if you're going to be over trimmed while you're on pad or not. And it used to be a slam-in bolt, like a rivet style bolt, but now it's a thread-in. So I guess mine has slowly backed out, and it's a common issue that I just never heard of.
Right.
But it slowly backs out. So if you guys have that motor, make sure you guys go check your bolt. Make sure it's not loose. I think it's a 1/2-inch socket size. But get in there and tighten that sucker up, because you definitely don't want that thing to come out. So at Lanier, I was plowing water at 40 miles per hour, running all the way down the lake.
No fun with that.
Yeah, no fun. And the bolt actually, it fell into the cavity where the pump's at, and I trimmed down and indented the pump, not knowing it.
Oh, man.
It had slowly started. It sounded like it was dying whenever I was trimming it up and down before in practice and stuff. So the morning of Hartwell, we dumped the boat in the water, and I go to move the trim, and it didn't move at all. So the pump was completely out. The thing was, trimmed like full trim, and I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to get on pad. So I had to hit the manual release. There's a little white valve on the side of your trim assembly. I let it down a little bit below full trim. So when I called my number, I would start to come up with a backup plan of like where I was going to go fish around the ramp. I was like, oh,
right.
I got to scramble and put something together if this thing can't get on pad, if I'm just nosing up and looking straight up at the sky.
Yeah.
But I was able to get on pad and run like 60, so it got me through the day. Did what it needed to do. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, that's kind of one of those things. So you noticed it. So when you said you made that adjustment, you did that before you dropped the boat in the water? You made that adjustment?
I was in the water. I have a hydraulic jack plate, luckily, so I put it all the way up and rolled my sleeves up and was halfway in the water trying to get that release valve open. So that was fun.
Man, yeah. I mean, we have to do to make it happen sometimes.
Absolutely.
And so the thing that I thought about with that is a lot of times when we're out on the water, one of the more common issues that people will have is sometimes their batteries will go low, and we may have problems starting your boat, your electronics may go out or something like that. One of the things that I purchased that actually came in handy was this Noco booster.
Yeah.
And I put a link in the description. Like I tell the guys, I always, whenever I come across something that I think will be very beneficial to them, I put those links down in the description. So make sure, guys, that you always check the description of the videos and the live streams. So with that, all you do is it's just like jumper cables. You just plug the jumper cables right into that Noco booster. And that's all it is right there. You keep it in a little bag in one of your compartments. And if you lose power to where you can't start your boat up, and I know whenever you're running around with it, what did you have, a 19-pound bag at the end of the day, you're wearing when you're always like, even if you have a brand new boat, you're like, hey, I have about 19, 20 pounds in here. When I turn that key, I don't want any problems. But if you do, and it doesn't start, if you have something like that, it gives you a little more confidence, because you know what I mean? You know that you can go ahead and just jump the battery and take off. So I just wanted to throw that in there for you guys to keep mind of. The link for that is in the description, if that'll help you guys out.
I won a smaller local tournament whenever I lived back in Warner Robins, and I had one of them suckers like on my starting battery the whole time.
So you just left it on there? Yeah,
I had to do it like near the end of the day. So like crank it up probably 3 times, and I just left it on there in the back. But the things are a lifesaver for sure. So make sure you guys go pick one of those up.
Yeah, and sometimes you might want to keep one in your car too, because you never know. So yeah, that's definitely a good thing. All right, so at 9 you said you had 5, and then at what what time had you pretty much upgraded those fish to where now you're looking for those kicker fish, or did you just have your, that 19 pounds by like 12 o'clock and it was easy street for the rest of the day?
Yeah, I wish. I wish it was that way, but now I probably upgraded a couple times just through some random fish. I was also running some brush too. Had found some. It still wasn't necessarily. It was really random the quality of fish that you would get in brush. So sometimes you could pull up, it'll be a pound and a half, or the next time you pull up, you might get a 3-pounder. Or the biggest one I caught in practice was probably 3.5. But so I'd upgraded a little bit from then. So I probably had maybe 10, 11 pounds. And then I was like, I had done some map research before and looked for some good spots that historically held largemouth or held better quality fish, just from past research and in past tournaments and stuff that I looked up. So I marked some stuff on my graph the night prior, and decided I was going to go run a couple of those spots just because it was kind of in a middle portion of the day. I think the bite picked up a little bit more, towards the afternoon in practice. That tends to be how it is with the wintertime anyways. It seems like there's a morning window and then there's an afternoon window.
Gotcha.
So I was deciding to go run a little bit more of that stuff that I researched. So I hit one of those pockets on the main lake and rolled in there, and I found a cane pile at the front of the ditch, and I caught probably about a 2.5, and then I caught another 2. So I was probably around 12 pounds by that point, and then looked out a little bit deeper, and that's whenever I saw the better pods of fish moving around.
Okay.
So I cast it out to one of those and got one to. They were getting fired up, they were schooled up. So one came shooting up and ate, and
oh man, you gotta love it when you're using your electronics and you see something like that happen. Yeah,
and it was deep, so I could tell that they were better fish, but I didn't know exactly how big they were. So whenever I leaned into it, it didn't really move, and I was like, "Is this a spot?" Because so like linear spots to me, it seems like whenever you hook a big one, they'll come up real quick, probably like 10, 15 feet, and then they'll start dogging you.
Right.
As soon as I pinned it, it was just straight head down. I could see it on active target, and it was just around all those other ones. It was keeping me right next to the bottom.
Right.
And I couldn't hardly get it up. It was like I was fighting a grouper or something. And
yeah.
I was using light tackle, so I had 6-pound test, so I couldn't horse it.
Ooh, okay.
But it was just sitting down there, head shaking, right next to the bottom. It came up. It was my big fish, which was I think it was 410.
Wow. And you said that was on 6 pound?
Yeah, it was 6-pound test.
Ooh, okay. So you out there living dangerously to get those bites.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do, like you said earlier,
Right. Man, gotta love that. All right. Yeah. So then that was your big fish. So was that the fish number, did you catch any more after that, or was that like the kicker at the end of the day?
So I got that school fired up. I caught that one out of it, threw back in there, ended up catching another one that was about 4 1/4. And then caught one more, kind of chased them around. That one was like close to 4, it was a high 3. Mm-hmm. Then after that, they kind of shut down for a little while. Picked one more off. This is all in the same ditch too.
Wow. Okay. So they're just in there kind of roaming around, and you're kind of chasing after them a little bit.
Yeah, from what I could decipher, it seemed like it was like 2 different pods of them. They're both, they're all 3+ pounders in that group. So
gotcha.
Ended up picking another one off that was about 3 pounds. Caught a couple other ones that were like 2.5 or 2.5 that didn't really help me too much by that point. I think I had called probably I called out my whole original limit for the most part.
Yeah. Okay.
So they all pretty much went out the window, and I was beating the place down because I really didn't have anywhere else to turn, and I really didn't have the confidence in going up shallow and fishing for largemouth all that much, because I didn't find anything in practice that made me say, oh, there's 5 and 6 pounders moving through this area.
Right.
I'm catching one of them. But I beat it down pretty good. I think I stayed there for probably like a little bit over 2 hours, just following them around, seeing if I can try to get them to eat again. But they were pretty much turned off by that point. They knew I was there, and they were tired of seeing my baits in front of their face.
Gotcha.
But there was some stripers and stuff moving through that area too.
Okay. Did you ever catch any stripers? You know, sometimes they'll show up at the wrong time. So,
oh yeah,
especially with that 6-pound line, those things will spool you out.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's pretty much immediately whenever you hook one, you're like, yeah, that's probably not a spot.
Right.
But I did catch a couple throughout the day.
Oh, okay.
Just randomly by accident. I'm not trying to catch them, but whenever they're far out and you cast to them, sometimes you can't tell what they are.
Right.
But I ended up leaving that spot, letting it rest for a little bit. I had some other stuff right across from where I was at that I felt like there was some fish moving through. I didn't know if there was going to be the big quality. So went up shallow, threw a crankbait some, tried to throw a buzzbait. Didn't, I caught some, just small ones, didn't help anything.
Okay. All right. So they're starting to warm up to that top water bite a little bit, huh?
Well, I say I threw a buzzbait. I didn't I caught some on a crankbait, not a
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I wish I got a buzzbait bite. That would have been nice.
Man, it's like we're waiting on it. We're waiting on it, trying to push it a little early. We're waiting on it. I mean, especially when that offshore top water bite hits too. I mean, we're gonna love that one.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a fun time of the year in there for sure. But I'm sure West Point, they're probably gonna be eating a buzzbait a little bit. I would think somebody's gonna get a couple buzzbait bites.
Right. Yeah. So you're gonna be at West Point too?
I'm not. No, I'm gonna fish Sinclair berries down there.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I'm fishing all the Savannah rivers and only cherry picking a couple of the bulldog ones.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I moved across the lake and cycled some of those spots. I was honestly just trying to kill some time and wait to go back over to the other area. Just seeing if I could, stumble upon another 4-pounder or 5-pounder somewhere else. That didn't happen. So I probably had like hour and a half interval in between.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a fairly early boat number. I was in the second flight, so I knew I didn't have too much longer to go back and fish that spot before I had to start heading back because we put in all the way up at Tougaloo.
Right.
So you're all the way up the river. So it's a good little healthy run, all the way from the main lake back up the river.
Right.
So I ended up going back over to that spot and caught one more that was right at 4 pounds.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And then caught one more that was, I think it was 3 1/4-ish around there. That was my smallest fish for the day. So everything I had came out of that one area. So it was pretty special spot for the day.
Man, right place, right time, right technique. Yeah. So I mean, you made it out from you were thinking you were going to be on your trolling motor at first, and man, it's good how things work out sometimes. All right, so now you have that bag. Whenever you're heading back to the ramp, how are you feeling at that point? Are you like, hey, I think I might have it. I mean, but then again, it's like you never know because some of those guys bring in like 20-something pounds on Hartwell. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, my first thought was I was hoping my boat was going to get on a plane, with 20 pounds in a live well and having full live wells. My co-angler had like 4 fish in there, and I was like, oh man, I hope this thing gets up. But it eventually did. It took a while, but turned it out and worked through a little bit. It gets on pad. But coming in, I honestly wasn't expecting to win it, even with the bag that I had. My scale was a little bit lighter than theirs. Mine said I had like right at 19. I didn't think that was going to be enough for the day, especially with that cloudy weather and the warming trends we've been having. I figured there's going to be largemouth pulling up all over the place. And
exactly. Yeah.
Talking with some guys that practiced, the day prior and the past 2 days, they said that there was a bunch of largemouth up shallow. So I was thinking somebody had to have cracked over 20 for sure.
Right.
I was expecting a good finish. I knew I was going to be top 5, but I didn't know I was going to win it by any means.
Gotcha. So now you're back. You bagged them up. You're heading in line. And so what's the chatter that you're hearing? I mean, are you still kind of like, hey, okay, might have a little magical something going on here?
Yeah, I was actually I got hit pretty hard, in bag line, or once we got to the tanks and I had my fish there. Paul Marks, he's an absolute hammer. His name is well known through any spotted bass area up here in North Georgia. He weighed in 19.1 and he had all spots.
Wow. Okay.
And I was at the tanks, and my scale said I had a little bit, right at 19. I was like, dang, he just barely edged me out.
So you heard his weight first. You heard him when they announced it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, oh man, he got me. Well, we good. Hopefully we stay in second place or something like that. So got to weigh my fish, and scale said 19.11. So I wasn't gonna argue with it for sure.
Man, yeah, there you go. All right. So that is how you did it. All right. So yeah, we've had a few people hopping in here. I've been popping their comments up every now and then, but I'm just looking in here to see if anybody had any questions or anything or comments. Let's see. Let me just look in here real quick. So yes, we had someone else that says I'm not the only one who uses 6-pound line. So I remember Michael was talking about catching some 10-pounders and I think even a 13-pounder on 6-pound line. Man, I don't know. I might pass out. All the stress and everything fighting a fish like that size on 10-pound line.
That's pretty crazy. I've caught some big stripers, at Lanier on 6-pound test line, but it's different whenever you're catching largemouth and stuff. That's some big fish to be catching on some super light line.
Right, especially when they come out of the water. It's yeah.
Having a good reel is probably the most important part. If you got that smooth drag, it can handle it.
Oh, definitely. All right, then we have some people in here giving you a shout out for your birthday. All right, have Jess. All right, appreciate you, Jess, for hopping into the live stream, getting active in the comments. All right, Jason with another happy birthday shout out. So yeah, it's been a good week for you.
Yeah, I can't complain for sure. That's if I had to ask for anything for my birthday, it'd probably be a win. So
there you go. That's it. All right, so let's see. Let me just take a look through here real quick. I don't really see too many questions coming in. Let's see. Oh, so we have Cool C. All right, Cool C checking in. He says, I'm fishing West Point this weekend. So yeah, he was over at the Lake Lanier BFL also. Let's see who else we have in here. And guys, also, anybody that is fishing the BFLs, whether you're angler, co-angler, boater or co-angler, make sure you guys reach out to me. If you're out here placing, cashing some checks and stuff like that, make sure you reach out to me. I'm trying to get in contact with everybody that is out here, especially if you're on the winning boater side or co-angler side. Like I said, reach out to me and I can bring you on here. We can come on here, celebrate your win, have a good time with it. Yeah, so good thing. All right, so I guess what we can do now is hop into the next segment, and it is what the segment that I call How Would You Fish It? And what that is where I bring up some footage on the water, and what we do is just take a look at the water temp, water clarity, whether you're seeing fish, cover, structure, and just kind of go through, like I said, just step through what you're seeing, what bait you would use, why you would choose that bait, and just see how that kind of works out. So what I will do is go ahead and share my screen. Let me go ahead and add this in here. Let me pause that right there. So I'm pretty sure, I know you run Lowrance, but they're all kind of, similar enough to where you can kind of decipher what's going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and play this, and I'm guessing that this is kind of what you were seeing out there, but I know there's some cover out here. So yours were more on bait fish more so than the cover. But let's go ahead and take a look at this and just kind of talk everybody through. And there's some people in here that come along just to hear. Sometimes we have a little trash talk and stuff like that going on in the comments. So some people, they're bank fishermen, they're not necessarily tournament fishermen, but they're still here for it. So having a good time with it. So just kind of talk us through what you're seeing, and based on what you're seeing, how would you fish this? So let me go ahead and play that. And there we go. Let's hear what the pro has to say.
Well, it definitely looks like a brush pile, off the bat. You got some fish cruising the top of it, sitting vertically in it. Looks like 10 foot of water or so. There's not a whole lot of noise on the screen. I know Humminbirds a little bit, they're good about not having noise go through the screen. If it's clear water, I'd probably throw a jerkbait over them or a swim bait to see how they react to it, and try to get a reaction strike out of it from the get-go. I'm not a very slow fisherman. I I don't like throwing a worm if I don't have to. If I can get away
Gotcha.
throwing something else, I definitely will. So my first cast will always mainly be with a moving bait. So especially with them schooled up that tight, I would definitely think to throw a swim bait or a deep dive and jerk bait. You have 50-degree water temperature, so yeah, definitely something that's not going to be kicking too hard. Something that's got a good subtle pulse to it, and kind of just read how they're going to react to it based off of that. But I would definitely think if you throw a swim bait over that, or throw like a MoneyBass Vision 110 +1 or a +1 junior, you definitely probably get some kind of action out of that.
Gotcha. All right. And so, all right, guys. So make sure you guys get active in the comments. I gotta give a shout out. Look who we have stepping into the live stream. Can't really see the whole message on here, but it is James Harmon, LJ, the Drop Shot Jedi on Lake Lanier. He is a guide out here on Lake Lanier, and he also has Lanier Baits. So make sure you guys check him out at lanierbaits.com. He says, LJ here, Mega Live tweaked up is the best going, but you have to tweak it up. Yeah, that is right. So yeah, that, like you said, that live imaging on the Mega Live, we don't really get too much clutter and stuff like that as far as noise and things like that. But for me, as long as I can see those fish and see that structure, even when I do, because a lot of times I may pull up to some place and I need to change the settings a little bit, but for me, I'm ready to get straight to it. So once I see those fish, even if there is clutter and stuff on the screen, I don't really worry too much about clearing it up. I'll just kind of get straight to it. But let me kind of move this back real quick. And guys, make sure you're getting active in the comment section. I want to see what you guys have to say. And actually, let me just make sure I have this over here so I can take a look and see what you guys are talking about over here. All right. So, all right, I see a few guys hopping into the comments and talking about it. Let me see, where are we at over here?
Was that at Lanier, that clip?
Right. So yes, this was from my practice on Lanier. So and basically at that point I was still trying to decide if I was going to go, because I like fishing offshore, but I just could not find those bigger fish. Whenever I would find fish like that, they weren't the caliber of fish that I wanted to bring into the tournament. Right. But let me just back it up just a little bit. And let's see, is that where it's at? There we go. All right, so let me first, before I go into it, let me just take a look and see what we have in the comments real quick. So let's pull us back up here real quick, and let's see where we at. All right, give the guys a minute to hop in here. All right. Look who we have, guys. We have Rush Cheek stepping into the live stream. Really, really appreciate you hopping in. All right, so let's see. So Rush Cheek says, let me see, Biggs are eating in Sinclair. Good luck. I lost one this past Saturday that would have went 8 pounds. Oh man, he lost it. He lost that 8-pounder. Man, yeah, I know that hurt. All right, so let's see. So let's talk about it. So Michael with Redneck High Tech Fishing says I would start with a jerk bait and Yum forward facing Sonar minnow 3/16. All right, so he's right. So you guys are thinking the exact same on that one. Yep. All right, and then let's see, Stephen Walden. He fishes on the co-angler side, so he's out here. He's been active in a lot of BFLs and other tournaments too. So he says, "What baits do you think going to come in play at West Point?" Oh, so he's wanting to know about West Point. So we'll get into that in just a second. All right, let's see who else we have in here. Vernon Neal. I'm glad he noticed that hummingbirds don't have a lot of noise. Yeah, so that's a big thing to a lot of guys. They want those screens looking clear. Me, I'm not so much worried about it as long as I can see what I need to see. But yeah, I do for my videos when I'm trying to show, guys, because I do electronics tutorials and stuff and upload videos on that. So I try to clear the screens up for them, but it's really for the videos, because for me, like I said, once I see what I need to see, I can work from there. Yeah, all right, and let's see who else we have. Does anybody else have anything to say how they would fish this? All right, so we have Texas Snoop. He says drop shot or swim bait. All right, for this one. All right, and then we have Vernon Neal checking in, jerk bait and swim bait. All right. We have somebody with something a little different. Sir. Russ Cheek says crankbait fish. Let me see on what is that? Ott's green gizzard shad. All right, so hey, he throw. What, say that again?
As a Rapala one, Rapala crankbait.
Oh, okay, that's the one he's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, so that those fish were suspended at right around the 10-foot range. So you throw a crankbait down there right above them, and that's the other good thing about using your forward facing sonar. Even whenever you're out there just throwing crankbaits, different things like that, you can see if they're running true to what they're supposed to. So you can see those things and kind of target the that water depth and stuff like that you need. All
I've caught
right.
a lot of fish shallow with a crankbait and watching it come back and pausing it at the right time because you can see them chasing your crankbait back out. So change your cadence up with it. You can catch some that way too.
Oh yeah, yeah, because you can pause it, stutter it, all that good kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So yeah, good deal with that. All right, then let's see. We have what is that? GND. Let's just go with GND on that one. Float a spinnerbait over the pile. So I've heard of people doing that before, just kind of slow rolling those spinner baits and letting it kind of tick the brush. And some could, because sometimes there are fish that are in those brush piles, even though you see them on the outside like that. And what I found, sometimes those bigger fish are hiding in the brush pile, and those more aggressive, smaller ones are up on top. So
Yeah.
yeah, so hey, that might be something to take a look at.
He sounds like he should be fishing you follow. That's
Oh yeah,
following
yeah.
it right there.
Right. That is true. That is true. All right. Then let's see. We have LJ says target lock with Mega Live is a game changer. When we were testing it, it was solid. Oh yeah, man. I that target lock. Man, that target lock. That's something I have had my eyes on. So we'll see, guys. We'll see. Then Mark Scott says, love my target lock. Look at these guys. They're getting in on the target lock now. Target lock is the ticket. All right, so let me pull it back up here and I will kind of walk through, what I see and basically tell you guys what I did when I was out there. All right, so I pulled up on that. First, I scanned right over this using my sonar, and I saw those fish. So I pulled right around real quick before because sometimes they'll pull off whenever I pull over them. But if you look at the top, you can kind of see. I was trying to keep it in the beam, but you see it kind of going in and out of focus on there. But I just ran a little small Kitech right through those fish, and you can see them pulling off, and you can see it kind of out there. What is that, about 20 feet? And you see those fish kind of chasing behind it right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I could not get them to commit to swim baits. I was going to try a spy bait, but I did end up catching one of these fish on a drop shot, and it wasn't. It was probably 2 pounds, around that 2 pound range or something like that. Could have been a little less than that. Actually, this is me right here with a spoon. Whenever I went on top of fish like that, and I ended up catching one of them. So I guess we can just watch that real quick.
There you go.
All right, let me go ahead and put the volume in so you guys can hear that. All right, so I figured out where the smaller fish are at. This is the first non-keeper that I've caught in a while, but caught that one on a spoon. Still, all right, there we go. So yeah, so that was it, guys. So on that, pretty much, like you said, that jerk bait, I did not try a jerk bait. I'm kind of impatient, and I know sometimes those jerk baits you have to, you let them sit for a little bit. I want to just throw something out there, see if they're going to take it or not, and pack up and leave. For that day, like I said, I love that offshore thing, but it just wasn't working out for me, so I headed back in shallow. So that is how I would fish it, guys, and that's how Spencer would fish it. So it looks like you guys were right on. And let me just take a look in here real quick to see if anybody else hopped in. Let's see. So we have Mike. So these guys are talking about that target lock. Target lock is a skilled target lock for me is a skilled foot on my Ultrex. All right. So that's pretty much what it is for me right now, too. All
Same
right, Big
way.
Jim. Yeah, that's the thing. All right, then big. So do you have like that live scanner or anything like that, or is yours attached straight to your trolling motor?
No, I keep mine on my trolling motor. Honestly, I don't know how guys use it on a separate turret like that.
Yeah.
No way. I would look like
Right. You because I guess you have to hit spot lock and then they go over to that other foot pedal on the on that live scanner
yeah,
and stuff
control
like
the
that.
turret. I would look like I was on those dance machines in the arcade or something if I had a thing on a turret too.
Gotcha. Yeah. Doing double duty.
Yep.
All right. And then Joseph says, sounds like someone's gonna be trying that hover juggle technique we used to sometimes throw a crappy jig on a gold hook, which pretty much did the same thing. All right. And then we have Harry stepping in. All right. What's going on, Harry? All right. So yeah, so that's I guess that's pretty much it, man. I really appreciate you coming on the live stream and telling us about your day, telling us about your win. And definitely, I mean, feel free to come back again and come back and have some more fun with it.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it. And if y'all got any questions, just shoot them over my way.
Yeah. So again, shout out your your social media. You said it was
It's,
Facebook and Instagram, right?
yeah, it's Flying Hawaiian Fishing.
Flying Hawaiian Fishing. And how do you is it? Are you spelling all the way out like FLYING?
It's just the IN. It doesn't have a G on it.
Okay, so Flying FLYIN Hawaiian. I
Yep.
don't want to spell that wrong. HAWAII. Is that
AN.
right?
Yep. Got it.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So yeah, make sure you guys check him out on his social media. I mean, he's out there cashing checks. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna see him on those leaderboards again. I mean, he has 3 in a row where he's out here getting those double digits, just under 20-pound bags. So shout out to that. All right, Spencer. So yeah, really appreciate it. And we will definitely be in touch. We'll see how I do out here on West Point, man. But yeah, good luck on your next one out there on Sinclair. There's some nice ones in there. So I'm pretty sure you're gonna come back with some stories on that one.
I hope so. Thanks for having me on, and good luck, man. Hope you catch them up.
All right. All right. Really appreciate it. All right, guys. There we go. There we go. So if you guys had questions, let me go ahead and clear this up real quick. All right. So yeah, guys, really, really appreciate it. Special shout out to Spencer for coming on here, giving us some good information. So a lot of you guys have always heard the story from the guy that talked to a guy that knows the guy that, and they may tell you how he kind of did it or what he might have been doing. But here you heard what he was out there doing. You heard, the thought process. So a lot of us, even whenever we're having those days where we're like, man, I just wasn't doing the right thing at all. I mean, it's just that decision-making process, how much time and work that you put into your day and what you're planning on doing, and then certain things just falling in place. So whenever you have that opportunity, along with that planning and just being ready for it when it presents itself, hey, goes a long way, guys. All right. So what I was saying was, there's been a lot of people that have been asking about the live imaging, the Mega Live system and things like that. So let's just check something real quick, guys. How are we looking on the likes? All right, so the likes are looking good. So if you have not hit the like button, guys, please take a minute to go and hit the like button. It definitely does help out the channel as far as pushing these videos out and growing the channel. The other thing, we are about to get into some content about live imaging and the Mega Live. I'm going to pull up some footage. The thing that I wanted to ask you guys, and what you can do is just reply down in the comment section. Let me just refresh the screen. So I can pull up some footage where I am out on the water with my live imaging after I have completed the 1.200 update, and I'm casting out different baits and just tracking those back to the boat. So I can pull that footage up. So if you want that footage, if you want to see that and talk about that, put tracking down in the comment section. If you want to see how I completed the update to the 1.200, I won't play both of them, guys. I'll clip those out and play them, so you guys can see it in a different video. But if you guys want to see the update being done and just want to see me out scanning before the update, and I think I have some footage after the update. If you want to see that footage, then drop update in the chat. So if you guys want to see that tracking footage, put tracking in there. I'm thinking you guys are probably going to want to see that tracking footage. Then I'll bring that up. So let's see which one I have queued up. Actually, I don't have either one queued. So yeah, whichever one you guys want to see, I'm just taking a look in here. And like I thought, I see tracking hopping in here. So let me drop this down, remove this from studio, and remove this. All right, guys, here we go. All right, so let me hop back into the comments real quick. And like I said, if you guys see any, look at Joseph talking about that Duralast footage. All right, another thing that looks like it may be happening this month, well, actually next month, guys, is when Chicken Hawk steps in here, he always has something to say. So he's always bringing up Logan Martin and beating the brakes off of me over at Logan Martin. So I don't know how to do the cracking knuckles things, but just imagine me cracking my knuckles right there. Looks like I'm gonna go ahead and get him over on Logan Martin, and see who beats the brakes off of who. So we'll see if Chicken Hawk steps into the live stream tonight. If he does, then we may talk about that a little bit. But we're looking at setting that up sometime this month. And if any of you guys, like I was saying before, want to come out there and fish with us, we're just gonna do maybe 10 guys. And just get a little footage and then come back and put that together and show you guys that on the live stream so you guys can see the results of, Chicken Hawk out there taking a beating on the lake. So if any of you guys are interested on meeting us out there at Logan Martin and fishing with us, like I said, it'll just be a little small pot tournament. Please make sure you hit me up on my Instagram. It's at official MoneyBass. And let me just scroll this right across the bottom real quick so you guys can see that. Let's see. Where's that at? All right, here we go. So if you take a look at the banner at the bottom, the Instagram is at official MoneyBass. So just hit me up on that if any of you guys are interested in fishing Logan Martin with us. So yeah, we'll have a good time with that, guys. All right, and let me just head back over here to, let's see, there we go, at official MoneyBass. All right, so that's how you guys can reach out to me. And like I said, I'm going to get into a few comments real quick, guys. I always try to keep up with you guys. So before we get into that, where were we at, guys? Where were we at? Let's see where we're at. Let me get caught up on a few things. All right, so we had some new members checking into the live stream tonight. Special shout out to Big Jim. He is a member of the Money Team. All right, good deal with that. And also had another member. All right, shout out to Cool C. I met him at the Lake Lanier BFL. Good to meet you. Glad you are now a member of the Money Team. And then we had stepping into the live stream, hitting me up with the $3 super chat. Well, the super sticker. Really, really appreciate that. And like I always say each week, guys, this channel is supported by you, the viewer. So whoever gives the largest super chat, super sticker, they are the sponsor of that night's live stream. And tonight we had Big Jim step in. He hit us up with the $10 super chat. So really, really appreciate that. But we had a member of the Money Team. We had Mark Scott, strong member of the Money Team. He said, "Hold up, swole up. I am the sponsor of this live stream." He hit me up with the $20 super sticker. Special shout out to you, Mark Scott. Really, really appreciate you supporting the channel. Always helps out. And like I say, guys, all of these funds always go back into the channel. And last time, special shout out to Mako Mills, Mark Scott. Who else was it? Vernon Neal, Jason, and Lanier Bates, James Harmon. You guys sponsored my BFL tournament on Lake Lanier. So really, really appreciate that. So this weekend, I have Lake West Point coming up. So I'm getting geared up for that, guys. Whenever we finish this live stream, I'll be in here breaking out a few baits that I have over here, getting those tied on, getting ready for this tournament this coming up weekend, because I don't really want to wait until the last minute. And real quick, there was a question in here. Where did it go? Hold on just a second. Let me go ahead and answer this question real quick and see what you guys have to say about this. Hold on one second. Where did it go? Just bear with me, guys. It's a live show. So sometimes, okay, here we go. Stephen Walden. He says, what baits do you think going to come into play at West Point? All right. So you want me to spill the beans a little bit on what I'm planning to do out there? I guess that's the case. But how about we do this? So guys in the chat, Lake West Point, it is I would say a largemouth lake is generally what wins this lake. The water is kind of stained. Some places you can go, it may be a little more muddy. They have some decent sized spotted bass there, but I would say the majority of fish that is going to take the win are going to be largemouth bass. So the water temps are increasing. Are the fish moving in shallow? What do you guys think? So what would you think in these type of weather conditions if you're going after these big largemouth? that the top baits would be for people to throw. And speaking of that, let me go ahead and pull up a poll that I did earlier. And I could have put it during this live stream, but we already have it out there. So let me pull this up real quick, guys, and just share this. Let me see if I share the screen with you, if you guys will be able to see it. Hold on one second. All right, let's see where we at. All right, just bear with me, guys. All right, there we go. All right, so let me just share the screen real quick and see if you guys can see this information on here. Let me get that, blow that up a little bit bigger for you. All right, so Stefan's question was, what baits do you think are going to come into play at West Point? And just so happens to be that I put a poll out earlier today that might kind of give you an answer to that of what people are thinking here. Let's see, Texas Newt. I mean, you're over there in Texas with those big fish. He says, how shallow can you use live scope? All right, so I thought you were asking how shallow do we think the fish will be, but I mean, I would say with live scope, live imaging, I've used it all the way up to ground zero, to where you can pretty much see it whenever it levels out and you're you're fishing like 1 foot or less of water. So you can still see it, and it just depends on how you set the depth and your settings on that unit. But you can definitely use it to fish shallow. You can see those fish moving around on the bottom of the lake. As long as you know what you're looking for, that is going to be the key factor in that. All right, so back to Stefan's question about what baits are going to come into play. So the question of the day was, what is your favorite pre-spawn bait for big largemouth bass? And so we had 34% of people said crankbaits. Who would have thought that? Crankbaits. I guess a lot of people would have thought that because 34% of you put crankbaits. And then we had 18% coming in at swim baits. 21% said jig. So it looks like the crankbait took it by far. Then we have the jig with 21%. Shaky head came in at 7%. And then other, and there were some comments on that. So let's just take a look at the comments real quick and see what you guys had to say. So Mark Scott said he loves the jerk bait. So some guys are throwing that jerk bait. We had chatterbait and spinner baits. Then we had crankbaits down there again, square bill crankbait. All right. Then the jackhammer and a rattle trap, something like a rattle trap. All right. The Noco rig and chatterbait. So those are the baits to answer that question, what I would say. And I kind of agree with that too. So that's the deal. That is the answer to that question. All right. So let me come back out of that. And let me hop back in the comments real quick, guys. All right, just bear with me. Bear with me. Let me just find a good spot to hop in here, because I see you guys have been active in the comments, and that is always a good thing. All right, and special shout out once again to Mark, the current sponsor of this live stream. All right, and let's see where were we at, guys. Just bear with me. All right, and like I said, whenever I get a lot of comments, it's easy for me to hop in here and pull up the members of the money team. They stand out a little bit. So let me just shoot through some of these real quick. So we had Jason. He said, good evening, everyone. How are you? All right, good evening. All right, Big Jim. All right, giving another shout out. Then we have Joseph. Let's see. He says, I'm talking about the big ones, 8-inch and 10-inch and 2-inch behind the 3/4 ounce. Oh, okay, a 3/4 ounce weight. Looks like big old stun shad down there on the bottom. Okay, all right. So he's doing it big out there. All right, then Big Jim says, a burning Neil, no sir, but the video is getting traction. I know Humminbird. So he's referring to he did a live stream last night where they were going over a lot of information about the Solix and Apex units as far as the updates that came out for them. All right. All right. So this is back whenever the guy was whenever we had Spencer on the live stream. Big Jim says Sato. I think I'm saying that name. Sato is the hammer. All right. I'm fishing West Point this weekend. All right. Just trying to get caught up, guys. All right. Where were we at? All right. Don't want to be too far behind. All right. Let's hop in right here. All right, so Big Jim says the mask helps remove surface clutter. So yes, there is a mask that you can put on the live imaging system. And again, guys, I am about to go ahead and pull up the tracking video that I've previously shown that, but I will kind of explain things. If I see some things that I didn't talk about before that I didn't touch on, I will talk about that. So if you guys could, before we get into that footage, share this video with some more guys to see if there's anybody else that's interested in coming and participating in the comment section and watching the video as we start talking about live imaging. Doesn't matter if you're running Garmin, Lowrance, or Humminbird. The footage that I'm going to show is going to be Humminbird Mega Live, the 1.200 with that update, and it's just going to be casting out some baits and tracking those baits. And I think you'll be able to see the fish in there also, if I recall. It's just footage that I did maybe a week or two ago, guys. All right, and let's see. So Vernon Neal says, Big Jim, do you have 2 Ethernet hubs? Man, I need another Ethernet hub because right now I have 6 connections, 5 ports. So one of my units is actually not on the network. So hopefully I'll be getting that soon. And maybe I'll be getting something else a little soon too, guys. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll bring that up. All right. So Harry says tracking is what he wants to see. All right. Vernon Neal was talking about the Ethernet. James Harmon says it works for me along with using the noise tab. All right. So you guys are talking about getting it dialed in. So we have some guys talking about they want to see tracking. Then we have Kurt Nichols checking in. What is going on? Really glad you're stepping into the live stream. All right, so yeah, you guys were talking about you want to see this the tracking footage. All right, and just bear with me again. Like I said, I just want to get through here real quick, guys. All right, James Harmon says West Point, largemouth upriver with a single blade Colorado blade spinnerbait. Oh yeah, that'll get them slow rolled. That's another one. So I think maybe one person may have mentioned that spinnerbait, but everybody kind of knows that is a good technique for those shallow largemouth. All right, then Joseph says I fish. Let me see. I fish most days. What is that? 3 feet or less. I stay in perspective mode. Wow. Okay. I haven't really got into the perspective mode game yet, but that is something that I'm looking to start, working a little bit more. All right. Big Jim says, gotta go, guys. See y'all later. All right. Really, really appreciate you checking in. And look who we have here, guys. What is that? Slide Dog in Tennessee says, I've successfully used Mega Live landscape mode on bluegill beds in 3 to 4 feet of water. That is true. Make sure you guys go and check out his YouTube channel because he has a lot of videos where he is tracking using landscape mode, and he's showing some 360 footage, some live image footage, and showing brim beds and things like that. Things that you got will definitely help you guys out on the water. So make sure you check out that channel. Then we have James Harmon says, Joseph, the landscape mode is great, but few use it. That is true. So if somebody does get that dialed in and they're out there with that landscape mode, maybe they'll have a little advantage in a way over some other guys. All right. So Joseph says, when you get shallow forward facing doesn't work well, you typically get about 3 times forward for every 1 times down. So in extremely shallow water, you don't get much reach in front of you in forward view. I might have to get out there and do some shallow water footage for you guys. So I've used the live system in shallow water also. And like I said, I can see the fish even when they're on rocks and things like that, whenever they're moving around. For me, what I do is I just change my depth and change the distance to kind of get a better picture. And that's what's kind of worked for me. All right. Then we have Don saying, see you, Jim. All right. Kirk Nichols hitting us with the fire. All right. So Stephen Walden says paddle tail swim bait on a swing head. All right. So that's what you would use for how you would fish it. No, man, you'd zero on that. You wouldn't catch any fish, Stephen. Who's gonna throw that? No, I'm just playing. Just playing. All right. So he says paddle tail swim bait on a swing head. So yeah, I mean that throwing that swim bait out there, that's something that, like I said in the clip you saw, I was throwing a swim bait. They followed it, but they did not take it. So that's just one of those things. But all you need is one of them, one good one out of those schools during a tournament. And then you can just kind of duplicate that in another location. All right. Vernon Neal says, when you get that target lock, I'm going to stop sending super chats. Hey, what's going on with that, man? What's going on with that? Why would you do that, man? Hey, but yeah, that would be nice. All right. Then Vernon Neal says Slide Dog and TN has some sweet footage of landscape mode. That is true. All right, guys. All right. So that is the just wanted to get caught up on those comments over in the chat. So let me share my screen. And what I will do is pull up that footage that I was telling you about with the live imaging. And like I said, guys, I'm about to pull this up. If you guys know anyone else that's interested in seeing this type of footage, please make sure you send them a Instagram message, text them, so we can continue to get this channel to grow. And that's the other thing, guys. Please make sure you hit the like button. It definitely does help the channel. And while I'm giving you guys that information, I am getting the screen set up so that I can share it and pull up the footage to show you guys the tracking on here. And if you guys have any questions or anything while I'm doing that, make sure you get active in the comments, because I'm watching the comments as I'm playing this footage, so I can bring more information over to you guys. All right, and let's see, where are we at, guys? All right, here we go. All right, so special shout out again to the current sponsor of the live stream, Mark Scott. Really appreciate that. All right, so let me share my screen. First thing I'm going to do. All right, let's see. That is kind of loud. Let me turn that down just a little bit. All right, share my screen. All right, so now, actually, hold on one second. Let me scroll through this. I think this is actually the footage where I was showing you guys the update itself. Yeah, so that's the update, guys. Let me back out of that and pull up the footage where I was doing the actual tracking. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at my Mega Live settings. Then what I like to do before I do any updates is go through and look at the settings for pretty much all of the other screens that I have. So this is something that you guys might want to take note of and start doing that yourself, as far as if you want to go in and take a picture before you do your updates and change these settings, because you will have to restore to defaults, and a lot of these settings will change and you will have to come back and update those. So instead of trying to remember everything that you have changed, if you document that ahead of time, then it will be easy for you to just go right back in and make those changes. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at the menu, and these are the current settings that I have for my live settings. All right, and after I do the update, I may go back and try to change and play around with some of these color palettes a little more often. I do normally leave that on 3, but maybe there will be something that works a little bit better once we start adjusting these settings, guys. All right, so now let's go ahead and exit out of there. Hit the menu button twice, and now we will go through each one of these, and let's just start with the Sonar. Let's go to Sonar over here, and now let's just take a look at the settings that I have for each one of these. All right, I'm going to kind of skip through here to get to where we're actually doing the track. I will turn on my network. What's right there that I installed. From here, I am going to go ahead and complete the... Actually, hold on. I pulled up the wrong video again, guys. Hold on. Struggle streaming, guys. Struggle streaming. I thought I had the correct one. Here it goes. This is the tracking one. Let me drop this other one down. Remove from studio. First thing I'm going to do before I run my update is run straight out here. I'm going to scan with the current version 2.75, and this is ahead of time. Then it will be easy for you to for the unit. Okay, here we go. This is it, guys. All right, let's start off with a shaky head. You can see that fish sitting right out here. Okay, so what I was explaining to you guys, so right now, if you take a look, I'm sitting in about 22 feet of water, but I have the, and let me just move that out of the way. So I have the down range set on 40. The forward range, let's just take a look real quick. Here at about 65. Okay, so I have that currently set on 85 feet, guys. That's pretty much the way that I'm running mine right now. And just to kind of pull that up, let's see which way looks better for you guys. All right, so I have the forward range set out to 85 feet. And I kind of worked my way up to that distance as I continued to fine tune and get my system set up the way that I want. And as you can see, the screen is still fairly clear. And a lot of you guys know that I don't really focus so much on removing all of the clutter off my screen, all of the noise and all of that. I do kind of want that on there to an extent because I want to see more and just kind of decipher the information that I need instead of tweaking it to the point where it's so clear and I start losing information. Now, if you look at that on the downrange, again, we're sitting on about 22 feet, but about, what is that? About 10 to 15 feet out. If you look on the bottom, and hopefully you guys know how to read this, just the basics of it, but you can see some fish that are about 10 to 15 feet out in front of the boat. They're on the bottom, moving along the bottom. Let me just back this up just a little bit so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So you can kind of see the shadow of where my head is at. Right there is where I'm referring to, guys. I'm going to back it up just a little bit so you guys can see what I'm referring to when I'm saying those fish are moving along the bottom and they're moving away from the boat, heading toward that brush pile out there. Let's take a look. See if we see any fish out here this time. All right, just bear with me. Just trying to get it back to that same section where we were just at. Hold on just a second. All right, getting right on top of it again. It's very well because I'm used to those baits and just see how the fish react. All right, let's have some fun with it, guys. Okay, here we go. I'm about to pull that up right now and just look right at the beginning. You see those fish right down there just under the boat. All right, let's start off with a shaky head. You can see that fish sitting right out here at about 65 feet. All right, there's my bait hit at about. Okay, so you can see that bait whenever it hits the water, and when it first hits, you can see it very well. The other thing that you have to do is just make sure that you're keeping that bait inside of the beam. As long as it stays inside that beam, you can track it. But I'm out there kind of moving around. I'm trying to record and talk to you guys. So I'm doing my best that I can to keep it within that beam. And I'm out there doing that footwork, guys. So I'm using my trolling motor with the transducer attached to it and just moving that while I'm talking to you. I'm using my foot and keeping that bait within that beam, just moving it in very slow increments to make sure once I get it in that beam, I don't just move it right out of it immediately. All right, so here we go. So I'm watching that shaky head go down, and that hit at about 70 feet. And from just repeatedly doing this, I know if I look and I see some fish sitting out at that 65, 70 foot range, I can just do a backhand cast, underhand cast, and my bait is going to land right at about 75 feet. I've done that enough times to where I can kind of gauge where I want that bait to land whenever I make that cast. And so that's pretty much what I did right there. 70 feet. And you can see that down. There it goes right there. I didn't do any additional adjustments. I just put it back to the original settings I had before the update. You can see that fish following that bait down. So that's the shaky head at about 65 feet, guys. All right, so were you guys able to see that fish that I made that cast to? And you could see my bait coming down to that fish. And then as that bait went down, and it's kind of it's pulling towards the boat. So it's like a pendulum effect. Whenever I casted it out there, it landed at a little past 70 feet. But by the time it hits the bottom, it looks like it's about 68 feet or so out. And you can see that fish follow it down. So were you guys able to see that? Just looking in the comments, seeing if you guys are getting active in there. Let's make it a little interactive, guys. So as long as you guys are interested, I'll play this footage and just to see if it's helping anybody out there. All right, so let me go ahead and keep playing it and see if you guys have any questions coming up. So that cast is now sitting out there at about that 60-foot range. All right, you can see a fish coming out of that cover right there. Again, I'm out here kind of drifting, trying to record fish. All right, so take a look at those fish. You can see them right at about 32 feet. The other one's about 34 feet. Let's see. Yeah, so they're kind of coming out of that brush pile. So they're just kind of moving back and forth. Some of them are coming from the boat heading towards that brush pile. Others are going in and around that brush pile, but you can see that movement down there. And depending on how I'm moving that the foot pedal to angle the transducer, that's giving me a better or a worse picture of the fish along with the brush pile itself. And the other thing to keep in mind, guys, I know that I'm sitting at 21 feet of water. A lot of times what I will do, and this is another thing that I let you guys know, is that it's always good to know how to adjust your settings very quickly. I don't like using manual settings. I will hit the menu button. It will immediately bring up my live imaging menu. I will change the depth. Since I'm sitting in 21 feet, I will change it to 25 to 30 feet as opposed to that 40 feet. And it will make the fish appear bigger and the bait that I'm casting bigger also. And I'm sitting out at forward view is about 85 feet. And I see that I'm about 60 feet away from that. So if I brought that into about 70, 75 feet, then it would help it a little bit better too. So that's kind of how you can use that to zoom in. If you're having problems seeing those fish moving along the bottom or something like that, that will help you be able to identify things better, get your cast more accurate, determine the size of the fish. All of that kind of stuff can be done by just adjusting that down and that forward range on there. All right, guys. So let's see who else is happening here. So we have Edward Ragsdale. What's going on? All right. Really glad to see you in the live stream. Just installed a dedicated lithium battery for my electronics, and it made a huge difference. Yeah, so I know a lot of people are doing that to get that dedicated power. Guys, for my setup, I'm currently running one battery to start for my starter. All of my units and everything that you see, whenever you see the images of my boat, my 4 units, my Mega Live, Mega 360, all of that is running off of one Interstate 31M AGM battery. It has, what is it, 11, I think 925 or 950 cranking amps. It has 100 amp hours and 1155. What is that? Is it marine cranking amps? I think, guys. But yeah, I have that one AGM battery running all of everything is connected to that one AGM battery. And I have a Perco switch that will connect the AGM battery to the, it'll just give that backup source if that AGM battery starts running low. So recently that battery did, it stopped working as well because my units cut off on me and I wasn't able to start my boat. And that's why I mentioned to you guys about having this Noco boost. Let me just pull this back up and show it to you guys again, just in case anybody wasn't in here earlier. But that Noco boost, you can keep this on your boat. And if your battery runs low or runs dead and you're not able to start your boat, you can connect that and it will jumpstart your battery and allow you to make it back. Or you can just leave the boat running for a while and let it charge that battery back up with the alternator. So that is basically what I did. Once I started it up, I just fished for a while with the motor running and it charged my battery back up, and then it was able to start up on its own again. But like I said, having that Noco boost, the link is in the description for you guys that are interested in that. I strongly recommend getting one, guys. I tell you that I put things in there that I think will help you out, and I definitely think that is something that will come in handy. So again, my boat is a newer boat, and you just never know when you may have an issue with your battery. Definitely don't want to have that with a 19, 20-pound bag sitting on tournament day when you have about 15, 20 minutes to make it back to the ramp. All right. And then we have Slide Dog. What is that? Slide. Let's just say Slide Dog. He says, yes, I saw it. So he saw that bait whenever I casted it. Joseph said, that's some pretty clean imagery. Yeah, like I said, guys, I can take the time to go through and tweak it. And that's why I like showing you guys my settings, because I get that question a lot. Like, hey, what are your settings? How are you getting it dialed in like that? And I guess the funny thing about it, guys, is I'm not really one that worries so much about having it so clear, but I just happen to have my units to where I'll go out there and get them set up, and they I have some pretty clear images. All right, so Joseph says I got some side imaging stills of crawfish inside a crawfish trap at 40 feet away. Oh, that would be pretty cool right there. All right, look who we have checking in, guys. We have the Epic Boys Fishing. All right. Nick and Chad over there doing their thing, doing it big. They just dropped the video tonight, guys. So make sure you go over there and check out their channel. Let's see. He says, great point. I bought one of those recently. I have an extra X2 AGM running my electronics and starting. So yeah, there you go, guys. Always a good thing. Always a good thing to have that backup going on. All right, so let me pull this back up and just continue to go through it. And all I'm really doing, guys, is just going through here and just giving you some small pointers of some things that I look at that I may not have mentioned whenever I originally went over this. Some things that I'm looking at that allow me to be able to read my screens better, get better images, things like that. So if you guys have questions, just go ahead, feel free to hop in there, drop it in the chat. All right, and let's see, here we go. Let's see what else I have on here. And keep everything in the picture at the same time, guys. So right now, as you can see, I'm running it very hot. And just give me a second and I will see if I can adjust these settings and just get it dialed in a little bit, give you just a little bit of a clear image. Let's see, guys. And if you guys watch my channel, you know that for me, once I get it to where I can see these fish and see that the cover that I'm fishing, I am good. But let's just see if I can change something real quick while I'm messing around with it. And as you see, I'm drifting. I'm trying to do a lot at the same time, drifting in, but just wanted to give you an idea. Let me just pull back a little bit. Or some suspended fish out there. Let's just see how they react to this A-rig. Hold on one second. All right, and the other thing to keep in mind, guys, that purple haze that you see is perspective mode. So I like running that perspective mode because it does give a little bit more information as far as being able to see the fish or the structure. Sometimes when it's not, the beam is not directly on it, I found that that does kind of help me decipher things a little bit better too. So sometimes I'll have it on low. I can't remember. I think it's low, medium, and high. So I think most of the time, recently, I've had that on medium. All right, and here I'm just kind of scanning around left and right. And there's that cast. Watch that A-rig hit, guys. All right, so that's that A-rig hitting. I'm watching it drift straight down. That's at about that 80-foot range. You can see those fish coming off of the bottom, heading over towards it. And now I'm reeling it in pretty slow, guys. You can see those fish going up towards it. Let's see if any of those fish are gonna come and hit that. All right, I just bumped that brush pile and moved off of it. So you can see those fish coming right behind it. Let me slow it down a little bit and let it fall. You can see those fish coming in behind it. All right, there's that A-rig reeling back into it. Again, guys, I'm trying to record, do a lot of things, keep it within that beam. Let's do one more cast. I'll throw this one maybe out to that 70 range, but you can see all of those fish coming out from there. All right, so that's that A-rig. Gonna let it fall back down. And again, guys, I haven't done any tweaking or anything like that to my settings to where I can make that show up any brighter yet. But I'm sure once I do that, I will get a better picture. But let's just see if I can get these things to hit it. All right, don't want to get stuck on that brush pile. Got to get above that brush pile. All right, there we go. There's the A-rig. There's the fish coming off of it, chasing behind it. All right, so this part right here is just showing how I use my Sonar, which is at the bottom of the screen, and my live imaging. So you can see that spoon that I have, I'm just jigging that right above that brush pile. And I can start on one side of the brush pile and just slowly move it over that. On this brush pile, there weren't any fish in there. So I was mainly just doing this so I could show you guys the footage of how I would use that to get the fish to come out of that brush pile and hit that spoon. or if I have a drop shot, sometimes I'll just drop it straight down into that brush pile, and those fish will kind of be hid in there. But right now, I don't see any activity or something within the brush pile itself. So, like I said, I just wanted to show you guys how I can use the sonar in conjunction with live imaging in order to track that bait better. All right, still just casting that bait out there. And what I'm doing here is just showing you how I can track that bait and bring it, throw it on one side of that brush pile, bring it right over the top of it. If you guys can read that and see how there's still some clutter on the screen at this point, I did not bother clearing that up because I can still see my bait good enough to where I can track it. I brought it over that brush pile, let it go all the way down to the bottom, and I'm just outlining that cover with my bait. So now it's right at the top of the other one. And now I'm letting it fall. Let's say I'm letting it fall back down again so you can see that very clear. And let's see. Nope, nothing followed it that time. But yeah, this was mainly just to show you guys how I can throw the baits out there and use it to just kind of guide it over the baits that the structure that I'm fishing or cover. All right, then we have GN says, buy a new Ranger or boat and get a free Noco boost. All right. All right, and let's see. All right, so there's another cast, guys. You can see that falling down right at about almost about 80 feet, guys. And now I'm bringing it up to that brush pile again. I'm gonna speed it up, bring it over that brush pile. And let's see. I think I dropped it back down again once I got to the other side of it. Let's see. Yeah, I think it was kind of off the screen that time. All right, hit at 80 feet that time. All right, and I started reeling that before I let it go all the way down to the bottom. All right, there you go. So now I'm letting it fall all the way to the just above the bottom, so I can kind of bump the bottom with it and just reeling it slow enough to where I can keep it down there. It came up, so I dropped it back down. But all of this is just to show you guys how you can use it or how I use it for tracking. All right, so let's see what we have here. Joseph says, Money, do you ever try to dial back your intensity so that you get a much softer return and turn off the filtering so that you can get a lot more background? No. So for me, let me go ahead. So that was the end of that clip. So for me, like I said, guys, I don't really go that detailed into it. Once I can see those fish in that cover, I'm ready to start casting and trying to catch those fish. So that is the main thing for me. Even if I have clutter on my screen, very seldom do I have interference from my 360 or from my transducer or anything like that. Sometimes it does, but like I said, even when I do, it does not last long. It may just be the water depth, or maybe there's a certain type of maybe it's a hard bottom or something like that in more shallow water. I may start getting some type of return, but it does not stay on there to the point where it bothers me, and it eventually goes back off. But even in those cases, I can still see the fish and the cover that I'm fishing, even when I have that clutter on the screen. And there's times where I will intentionally dial up either my contrast or my sensitivity to kind of blow it out to where there is not interference, but that noise on the screen, and just so I can still see for myself if I would still be able to track my bait, be able to determine whether it's fish, cover structure, or it's noise. So I kind of work on things like that when I'm out there. Sometimes it's just a little bit of extra fun for me, guys, just figuring new things out. All right, guys. So we have been running for about just under 2 hours. So I don't see too many more questions coming in. So let me just go through here real quick and do a quick recap of where we were at. So we have Big Jim stepped in. He was the original sponsor of the live stream. Really, really appreciate it. Make sure you guys check out Big Jim's channel. He's on every Monday. I pretty much do my live stream every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Please make sure you share these videos and let people know about the channel, guys. We are continuing to grow. We're getting bigger a lot faster. Really, really appreciate it. Let's see who else we have checking in here. All right, let's see. All right, Vernon Neal says 100K Noco boost. All right, so like I said, guys, I did put the link for you guys in the description for that Noco boost. And for anybody that's just tuning in, basically, this is just a small power pack that will jumpstart your boat if you ever run low on energy. It also has a flashlight on here. Let's see. Yeah, so there you go. So it has a flashlight. Let me see. Did I turn that on? There we go. So it has a flashlight on it. Oh, it has different settings on there. Didn't really notice all of that before. So it has a 12-volt out, and that's where you plug in the jumper cables. So if you need to jumpstart your boat, it also has a port on here where you can charge up something for USB. So if you have a camera that you're using or your phone or something like that, you're running low on power, you can always use this to charge that up. So these are just good to have, even if you want to keep it in your vehicle. For emergency purposes, but definitely on the boat, I do suggest having one of these on your boat, guys. The link for that is in the description. I think they run around $90-something, something like that. All right, so yeah, $100 Noco boost. I mean, 100K Noco boost is what Vernon Neal said. All right, so let's see. Joseph says, I'm going to send you something on Facebook to look at. It's a chart I made to help out with where the beam is pointing. Gladly share with anyone else who wants it. All right, so
yes, sir.
That is what I'm talking about, guys. Always here to help each other out. Really, really appreciate that one. All right, so let's see where were we at, guys. So like I said, shout out to Big Jim. Then we had some new members of the Money Team checking in tonight. So we had Big Jim. He became a member of the channel. Really, really appreciate that. It's just a small way to show support for the channel and become a Money Team member. You will have that badge right next to your name. It kind of helps you stand out in comments. So whenever, like I said, whenever we have the live streams where things start getting very active, it helps you guys stand out. So I can kind of hop to your questions real quick. And, you know, there'll be a few perks every now and then with being a member of the Money Team. Then we have Cool C. He is also a member of the Money Team. Really, really appreciate that. And also, the sponsor of tonight's live stream was Mark Scott, or is Mark Scott. Really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate you always checking in and supporting the channel and getting active in the comments. All right, guys, we will go ahead and close this out. And I may have a special live stream that I might do tomorrow. Just be on the lookout for that. I will send out a notification if I do put that together, guys. But as always, please make sure you hit the like button on the way out if you did not hit it on the way in. Had a good one, guys. Special shout out to Spencer for checking in and sharing his information on his win. We were able to bring him up and celebrate him. So definitely appreciate that. All right, guys, I will see you guys